aprovechando que estamos en el E3, nos hemos colado por aquí y hemos hecho unas cuantas preguntas a la gente de Borderlands The Pre-sequel. Y entre otras cosas nos han contado que en el juego veremos la evolución del protagonista como personaje y también nos han dicho cómo Claptrap ha terminado siendo un personaje jugable. Pues estamos con Matt y Tony, responsables de Borderlands The Pre-sequel. Vamos a hacerles unas preguntas a ver qué nos cuentan del juego. Hi Matt, hi Tony.
Hey, hello.
Well, the game is announced for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, but what is a surprise is not for the new generation, PS4 and Xbox One. So why is that?
I guess it's not too much of a surprise. We've got Borderlands, all Borderlands players have been playing on those consoles. And we really want to service those fans to an extent that we know they're there. So let's give them all what they want on the console that they've been playing on. So for us, it's not too difficult for us to do or even think about because it's all about the fans.
Can this be a chance for in the future one guy who has all the games already Borderlands?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to play a new Borderlands experience, but know without a doubt, within the first 5 seconds of playing, that it's going to be a Borderlands game. So while there's no real connection between the two other than taking characters from both Borderlands and Borderlands 2, you won't be able to influence the Borderlands Pre-sequel through those games.
Okay, so one question for sure a lot of fans want to hear. In this edition, Claptrap is finally a character in the game you can play with. So why now? Why not before?
Well, Claptrap was Randy Pitcher, the president of the company, sort of challenged us to come up with a way to make Claptrap playable, and we said, okay, we can try, but the only way we can make Claptrap playable is if he maintains the spirit and heart of Claptrap. Claptrap's very annoying. He's very divisive. Some people love Claptrap, some people hate Claptrap. He only has one friend in the world, and that's the player. So can he be funny and annoying and charming and a loser, but also because you're one of the players, you're kind of the winner. So can he be a loser and a winner at the same time? And we decided that the only way we could have playable Claptrap this time is if we could solve that problem, so that when you play him, you still know that's still Claptrap. He's still the loser, he's still annoying, he's still all that, but he's also kind of one of the heroes, and he's also funny, and he's also a value to the team. I think we solved that problem fairly well. I think we'll probably be showing people how we solved that problem later on.
Totally. Not just yet though, but I can say it is so much fun to play Claptrap. People are going to be really, really surprised.
For sure. Well, about what is new in the Pre-sequel that people cannot find in the other Borderlands 1 and 2?
The new game takes place on the moon of Pandora, Elpis. And when we decided we wanted to go to the moon, a bunch of guys from Gearbox went over to Australia and visited with the guys at 2K Australia.
Similar to the moon.
Yes, it's very. They have the same accents. They sound very similar. But when they went to the moon, we went to Australia, same place, and we had a meeting called Promises of the Moon, where we talked about what is it that makes the moon special. What are the promises? And they were low gravity, low oxygen, lasers. The moon is cold. We should have ice in the game somehow. Moon buggies, spacesuits, spacemen, space monsters, craters, meteors. There's a big space station. So once we started thinking about all those different promises and how to bring the gameplay to those promises, we end up with a interesting several more layers of new tactics and gameplay added to the Borderlands world. I'll let Tony sort of talk about the gravity and the oxygen.
Yeah. So I guess that some of the things that Matt's talking about, that your promise of the moon is low oxygen and no gravity. Now that's where we started with low gravity, and that is so much fun. In Borderlands series, you've been able to jump large distances. With no gravity, you can jump so far, it's incredible. And we didn't stop there, we can go up a long distance. We can use now oxygen to go even further up and even further along. which introduces some fantastic new combat mechanics. You don't really need to be hiding behind anything. It's not so much a cover game anymore because your cover's the air. You can go up and over your enemies if you want to. And while you're up there, you can shoot down on them tactically. And if that's not enough for you, you can get some Oz kits, part of the oxygen mechanic, to do things while you're up there as well. So you can have Oz kits that increase the damage you do with how you're shooting. So you can go on a strafing run straight across the top. Or you can use that oxygen to come down really fast, slam into your enemies, and use some elemental damage to take them out with fire, with acid, with electricity, and even smash them with ice. And cryo damage is one of the new things, again, that we've added to the pre-sequel.
And about the story, something with no spoiler, of course, something that's gonna be make so happy the fans. So.
Well, it takes place between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, and it's about the rise of Handsome Jack. It's about Handsome Jack and how he comes to power. When the player plays Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack is the villain, but he keeps saying he's the hero. And the truth is, he's just the hero who's been skewed down a dark path. And we get to sort of go with him and accompany him as he starts as a hero with noble intentions, and slowly, because of the incredible difficulty and danger of Pandora and how you have to act to survive, he slowly becomes more and more dark and corrupted and twisted in his path to being a hero.
So we want to see the evolution of the character, the main
Absolutely.
character, who was at the beginning before Borderlands 2.
Yeah, and we're doing some other interesting things too, because previously in Borderlands games, you have the player characters that people really liked, like Lilith in the first one and Roland, and then in the last one we had Maya and we had Axton and Gage. They didn't have their own arcs previously. They were just sort of witnesses to a story. But because the pre-sequel involves characters from the Borderlands universe, it's Nisha who becomes the sheriff of Lynchwood. It's Wilhelm who becomes Jack's trusted lieutenant. It's Claptrap who has such a grudge with Handsome Jack that anyone who's played Borderlands could rightly claim that the actual plot of Borderlands 2 is Claptrap getting revenge against Jack. But we hadn't actually talked about why Claptrap wants revenge so much. And this story sort of gives us a sense of how Athena and Nisha and Wilhelm and Claptrap become who they are in Borderlands 2, and we're able to tell some of their story, which is new for our franchise. We're kind of excited about that.
Okay, we talked before about the gravity, but let's focus on the abilities, because abilities and skills are so important in this game. So what's new in this pre-sequel?
We've developed all new skill trees for all the playable characters, and those skill trees are very different. So one player can play Wilhelm in 3 different ways, or multiple, even more than that, depending on the skill trees they have. The same with Athena. And what we really drew from is Borderlands 2, where you see, say, Wilhelm, he's a full robot. He's a guy who throws missiles out everywhere. But we were able to take that even further and build his origin story. So he starts as a man. So in Borderlands 2, he's just a head on a robot body. In Borderlands The Pre-sequel, he starts off as a man, and you can develop his skill tree, either for his drones, which he also has in Borderlands 2, or you can develop his cybernetic abilities. So you'll see his fist change into a pneumatic fist punching out. You can make him do really cool things like run and shoot, which you haven't been able to do in Borderlands 2 before. You can develop things like a cannon will come out of his back and start shooting if your health's down too low. So you get to see some of those cybernetic changes to Wilhelm along the way.
So finally, what do you expect the reason from the gamers who play the pre-sequel? What do you expect the feedback from them? Like, I mean, for sure you want the game to succeed, but
Of course we do. I think they'll love it.
But
they'll be able to have a Borderlands experience which they'll know and they'll feel really comfortable about, with some new mechanics that make it even more awesome than it was before. To the point, it's really difficult to kind of go and play Borderlands 2 after you played Borderlands Pre-sequel, because you're so used to using the low gravity mechanic that you just want to keep on using it. And so it'll make a real difference, and we really think that players will really like it.
thank you so much for your time, and congratulations for the game.
Cheers, thank you. Good to meet you.
Thank you.